so sweet. Hang on.
What has impressed you most about what they've done consistently the past year, the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got a pretty rock solid winning formula. You know, their quarterback and their offense does a nice job of not turning the ball over. Their defense, you know, plays really aggressive up front, affects the pocket, which leads to either fumbles or interceptions and guys that are, you know, having to throw the ball before they want to or getting hit while they're throwing it, where they're taking it off the quarterback. They're doing a nice job of doing that. You know, I think if you ask them, I think, you know, they'd probably say something about winning the line of scrimmage. You know, their offensive line does a great job. Their defensive line does a great job. That's kind of how they're built if you look at it. And then, shoot, I mean, they're skill guys and their secondary match up pretty good with anybody in the league too. So they just have a really talented football team led by a quarterback that is playing at a high level and a defense that's doing a nice job.
With Puka, was there any moment either in the preseason or training camp or whatever where he like really earned your trust? Like the light goes on, like, okay, this guy I can rely on in clutch situations.
I don't know if there's a single moment. You know, I think it was just kind of built over time. Just like I don't think, you know, like on the football field, I don't think you can earn trust in one play. You know, and I don't think you can lose my trust in one play either. I mean, people are going to have really good plays and they're going to have poor plays. It's consistency over time, and really all the guys on the outside have done a hell of a job of earning my trust, earning the coach's trust, earning our team's trust. That's what this thing's about. Especially, on the offensive side of the ball, I got to trust those guys are going to block. I got to trust those guys are going to be in the right spots, and I put it in the spot. They got to run a route, trust that I'm going to put it in a good spot for them. So, it's built over time. It's not one instance that was like, oh, now I'm going to throw it to them X amount of times, or I'm never throwing them again. That doesn't work like that. And
You mentioned the other day during the game, your hip was kind of chirping at you. I'm just curious, is that chirping continued or is that abated?
It's quieted down a little bit. It's feeling a little bit better than I thought it was going to feel, to be honest with you. Our training staff's done a heck of a job trying to, get me feeling as good as I can. That'll be a process throughout the week, and then when Sunday goes, I'll just go out there and play.
I'd like to. You tell me. I mean, I don't know that anybody has an answer. I think when you look at it, the execution that they have, and going back years, with Coach Stoutland, he even got there with Coach Kelly. The emphasis of that, their personnel, then their execution of the techniques, and just being able to win that leverage and be able to get that push. It's incredible, and then when you see a lot of teams try to replicate it around the league, it doesn't look anything like that. And so I think it's a huge credit to those guys, their commitment to it. They pick and choose their spots when they have some complimentary mixers off of that, but it's one of those deals that you give a tremendous amount of credit to, number one, their players for being able to execute it, but also the buy-in to continuously activating that and, the finer details with the techniques, the fundamentals, where it comes to life on the tape, it seems like week in and week out.
A copycat league. Have you ever considered installing that into your game?
Yeah, did you see the Seattle play? We tried it. It didn't look very good. That's why we had to go for it on 4th and 1. We tried it on 2nd down. It looked nothing like Phillies. So, we got some other things maybe we'll try. There you go, Gary. All right.
With all that Puka has been able to do early on here, and now Cooper coming back into the fold.
Yep.
How do you manage those two and Van and Tutu and everyone else?
Yeah, I think you do what you think is best, and I think, it just so happens that there's been a lot of situations where he's been, high and kind of, some of the progressions for Matthew, and he's been able to deliver in a big way. And so I think you credit Matthew, you think you credit Puka for being able to deliver on those things. But, there's certain instances where it's good to be able to get a lot of different people involved and making sure that, they got to be able to defend, the field in a different variety of ways. And I think you look at their offense, they do a great job of being able to get 2 premier receivers involved. They've got an excellent tight end in Goddard. They've got backs that can be big parts of the game plan. Quez Watkins makes his plays as well. So, like you've heard me say before, it's awesome to be able to have a guy that's gotten, some of the production that he has, but I also think it's great to be able to have multiple people that can be able to make their plays, and you want to be able to make people defend all 5 eligibles, and that's usually when, offenses are toughest to defend, and that's obviously what we're striving for. See a great player. I see an incredible leader. I've always had such respect for him from afar, just watching the way he handled himself, as a man and as a person, number one. And then you see a guy that's committed to his craft, being able to play the position, exhaust progressions in the pocket, being able to keep his eyes downfield as he escapes. He's got a great rapport with his receivers when his things go off schedule, and then he's obviously an excellent runner of the football. They do such a good job of being able to change the math at the point of attack. He's one of those guys that he elevates people that are around him. That's why you hear his teammates, his coaches speak of him the way that they do. And we'll do our best to try to slow him down, but he's a great competitor, a great player.
The Eagles' depth on their roster is something that's really impressive in terms of over the years they've been really good the whole time
Absolutely.
you've been here. Does that stand out to you? And is that something like the Rams aspire to?
Yeah, it's really impressive, Greg. I think you look at it, I think Howie does an excellent job of, continuously having creative avenues of onboarding players, keeping great players signed in-house. They've done a great job of being able to creatively utilize draft capital, whether it be moving up and things like that. And so you give them a ton of credit and how quickly they've been able to, say, all right, when you look at when they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago in 17, and then, you look at their last appearance when they actually end up winning it, and then they end up being able to finish the job, and get there again last year. It's really impressive, just watching what they've done. And there's still some, consistent, guys that have been their core pillars, if you will, but they've also done a great job of building around those guys, and, you give them a ton of credit.
What's your perception of like this team and City?
I really like it so far. I have a lot of friends and guys I played with before. I trained with Slade in the off season. I played with Justin Evans. Last year I played with Cunningham and Houston and Street as well. So a lot of guys I'm familiar with. And the city is fun. It's energetic. I can tell by all the responses on social media, like they're hype. It's a great city. It reminds me of like college town, like college vibe. So it's always fun when you can have a great fan base like that behind you.
I know you just got here, but how long do you think it'll take to catch up on the defense and be ready to play?
I don't think it'll take too long. Once you play it so long in the league, there's only certain coverages you're going to run, so really it's just the small, minute details. So I don't think it should take long to get ready.
So you play both outside and inside. What's the differences to you, and what makes you so comfortable inside when you play there?
I've been playing that since Super Bowl year, my second year, first year, my rookie year. So I've just always had that ability to play both. I think the difference is more happens inside, more thinking, things happen faster, more space to cover. It might be a little tougher, but from the outside it's also hard because you're one-on-one, and it's just you and another guy with a lot of space. And great quarterbacks and great receivers. So they're tough. They're equally tough in their own way, and different footwork and eye progressions you have to go through. But it's not that big of a deal once you get behind them.
Have you had a chance to look at the Rams? What kind of challenge do they present, their receivers?
Yeah, I watched them a little bit. I understand what the Rams want to do. The kind of tight formations, run the ball, play action, over sevens. These offense coordinators kind of keep the same vibe. So I
kind of an up-tempo offense.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great scheme. Because they're plugging guys in and making it happen.
Jalen, what are you seeing out of the Rams defense? And there is a player like Aaron Donald on the other line. How much do you have to be aware on each play of where he is?
It all starts with Aaron Donald in the middle. He's been doing it for a very long time, playing at a high level for a very long time, and been the best for a very long time. And so a ton of respect for him as a player. He's a great player. He's a great player, and he has a unique ability. He's a great player, So for us, you just have to control what we can with that, and make sure that we're executing at a high level and doing the things that we can.
Do you find that you have to be more patient this year as far as like picking your opportunities to throw deep or take off?
I think things just change from year to year. You have different things, you have different ways of attacking people, and you have different ways that people are trying to attack you. So, the game is always changing. To think that something will be the exact same as it was before, if you have that mindset, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
Impressive non-football thing you've seen Jake Elliott do in your 4 years?
I don't know. What are you looking for? What does he do? Yeah, he's pretty athletic. Pretty athletic. I love Jake. I love Jake, but when it's the NFL, everybody's an athlete here, You're going to get me in trouble with Jake.
I'll talk to him.
Look at the quick play last week and sent you guys notice about the things that they're emphasizing.
Well, and they're always sending us notices. Obviously the last 2 years we were getting a lot of notice for offensive linemen downfield. So there's always things that, they're going to try and give you a heads up and make sure that you're not blindsided with things that you're not prepared for or know are going to be called. So, yeah, the sneak play, they gave us forewarning that they're going to start looking for offensive players sneaking into the neutral zone as well.
Mm-hmm. Are you expecting kind of like a hyper focus on that play now that it's become so mainstream and successful?
I don't know. I think that whenever there's controversy around something, there tends to be more attention on it, and I think that tends to be called more. I think that happens especially early on in seasons when there's a lot of emphasis made on new rules or rules that they want to emphasize. So you just got to try that much harder to make sure you're being legal. And there's no way they can call it.
At the end of the day, it's a quarterback sneak. So do you get kind of annoyed sometimes that it has been made such a big deal? Sirianni's response is no one can stop it.
I mean, it's a sign of, it's good that it's being made a big deal. You know, teams are frustrated with it. It's highly successful. Some would say unfair.
Can y'all feel that? Can you feel what's about to happen on this field, man? Can you feel what we're about to get into? They don't respect us. They don't know about our heart, man. That thing that's beating your doggone chest right now. Whatever you got today, I got to have